Okay, here we are, Sunday morning, getting things set up. Got my software running. That tells me all, the recipe, and my equipment is in there, so it computes all the temperatures for me. There's my yeast. I'm getting that ready. It's on a little homemade stir plate. There's a little computer fan in there that spins around. It's got a magnet on it, and it spins a little magnetic bar that's actually in the flask with the yeast in it. So it's mixing that up. This is what I'll add to the fermenter. There's some yeast nutrient, and this is an enzyme, Clarity Ferm. It helps take out like the haze, so it's not as a cloudy beer, and it also makes the beer gluten-free. So there's my little setup for the timer and everything. Now over here I've got my calibration liquids. They go with my pH meter. You try to get a pH of 5.2 in the mash, and that's what you're trying to achieve, and that'll stop it from getting overly bitter. It stops it from pulling out too many things. There's my honey, 1.5 pounds of honey that I'll add after the boil. Some extra RO water in case I need it. There's the grain. This is a mixture. It's got several grains in there, but it's got a heavy concentration of wheat, and wheat has no hull. So what ends up happening if you make a beer with a lot of wheat in it, it'll actually clog up your mash tun. So when you're out here and you got your mash tun and you're trying to get all the liquid out of your oatmeal mix, if there's a lot of wheat in it, it could clog it up. So what they do is they add rice hulls into the recipe if you're using a lot of unhulled grains. All right, so then over here I got my hot liquor tank is heating up. I put the water salts in that. So what I do is I treat the whole water source to get it to the hardness that I like for the type of beer. So in this case, it's not a hop forward beer. It's more a smooth malty beer. So I put a lot more calcium chloride than I do gypsum. If it was a hoppy beer, the ratio would be flipped. I'd have more gypsum. There's my little setup. So right now I'm trying to get the water up to 158 degrees. Once it's 158, then it gets pumped into here, into my mash tun, and I'll add the grains in. The software calculates out the efficiency of the cooler, so I know the temperature I need to put in. The idea is we want the mash to be at 149 degrees for an hour. So it calculates the temperature, starting temperature of the water, the grain temperature, and it's pretty accurate. It'll get me close, if not right on it. And then there's the counter chiller, which you chill the beer before putting it into a fermenter with a little oxygen tank, and I'll oxygenate it also. So that's where we stand right now. We're waiting to get this up to 158 degrees, and then we'll proceed.